Welcome viewers, and thank you for following our Inside program at the Chronicle. In our studios today we have Njie. John, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Frederick, and thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. John is
the chairman
of the organization of non-governmental, how to call it, National Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, that is TANGO. In our studios today, we will discuss about the post-TRRC context, the registration pre-campaign in the Gambia, what the civil society is doing with regards to making sure that the process does not derail with regards to the tense context in which we are. Let me begin with the TRRC. It has concluded its public hearings. Now in the corridors they are writing their report, and we are expecting it to be submitted to the president very soon, probably. What is your assessment of the whole process since it has started 2.5 years ago?
Well, first and foremost, I think to establish a TRRC was a noble initiative, and to also the credibility and integrity of the commissioners has added a lot of weight to the credibility of the institution, and we have all been witness to the hearings. Obviously, we cannot all agree on all the aspects, but you know, at the end of the day, we have to trust the process. The report will be out, submitted to government, and the government will come up with a white paper. The law gives them up to 6 months. Sometimes I think it is important that we don't just follow what says the law says, okay, within 6 months. So you wait until the 6 months is finished. For something as critical as the TRRC, I think Gambians would want to see, especially the victims, those that were directly affected, they would want to see something done within the 6 months, not to wait until after 6 months. But we are also aware that it is a very heated political season. Governments in power may not necessarily want to do everything, or might tread cautiously because of political expediency. But what we have done as civil society is to, once we have established that we have trusted the way everything has gone, now they are writing the report, but we don't want selective justice. We want to ensure and also work with government to see that the recommendations that the TRRC makes are implemented as much as is within our power, all of us collectively together.
Meaning that the civil society will not wait for the recommendations to be sent. It will already anticipate with the government what to do.
Yeah, well, basically we have even sent our own recommendations. What we felt, or what we feel about the process and what we believe needs to be done.
About it?
No, we've shared with the TRRC. Okay. And since they are writing their reports, I believe in good faith. And to a very large extent, I personally believe that most of our recommendations will be similar with that of the Victim Center and with that of the TRRC. So, but what we want to do is to engage with government early enough in the process that when this report is submitted, all of us are waiting for something credible to be done. Victims are waiting to have respite. So whatever the recommendations are, we want to also make sure that they are implemented. You don't want something as delicate as the TRRC to end up like the Njie Commission, where people have, you know, all kinds of thoughts that, well, it was not fair, this and it was selective justice. You don't want that for something as delicate as the TRRC, where lives have been lost. And any wise government would not allow that to happen. But we are a civil society, we are not government, but we want to work with government to ensure that wherever government has even shortcomings, civil society can complement the efforts of government. We can talk to our partners. We are not saying that we are just leaving everything in the hands of government. We are partnering with government, and we believe there will be goodwill. We've worked extensively with the Ministry of Justice over time. we believe the same will happen. And that's why we want to be on top of our game and have this process already in place. We already have a roadmap. Part of the roadmap will be engagement with the press. We've written to the president the concerns, the partnership we want going forward. We are going to engage with every political party leader.
Talking about the president, do you think he would be responsive? Because we are heading towards the elections. And like you said, legally he has a span of 6 months. We all know that likely he wouldn't, come up with whatsoever decision not to upset probably a group of people who are in power and who constitute, yes, still an important electoral force. How optimistic are you, or how do you think that it is your letter to him or your call to him would make an impact?
Well, when it comes to partnerships, for me, I really believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt. Yes, the odds are that any political player will want to do what is politically expedient. But it might not be. Because if you think that, okay, let's not rock the boat, let's leave it here. What about the people that possibly would have supported you if you just went on and you take the bull by the horn and do it? So I think it can go anyway, but we want to also believe that since it's this executive that has pushed for a TRRC, they must also show goodwill in making sure that the recommendations are implemented.
Some people would say they express goodwill with the Constitution. They never did anything to really defend it, to get it passed. Some people also tell you that they show goodwill, but when it comes to the general recommendation, we had something called a white paper. Meaning we already have a story about that. Yeah. In fact, for a report to be made public, at the beginning, they asked people to buy it. When the taxpayer money actually, constituted the work of that commission until you have a general outcry before they avail it to the public. Yeah. Can we have good faith with these guys?
Well, as I said, we are in talks. We are going to engage more. We've written to the president. We've not yet received a response. We will wait until the government shows itself otherwise. But until, as I speak to you, we want to express the belief that this is our country. It's not an us versus them. If we want the best for the country, let's build it together. So I will stay on the side of good faith and give them the benefit of the doubt that they will do something about the recommendations. And both victims and the Gambian community, by extension, would be able to heal and chart a way forward for our country.
Challenging. Talking about our country and making good about it, we can't do that without the politicians and the political parties. Last week, you invited them in a platform, but only one political leader turned. What was it about, and what does that tell you?
Okay, the Center for Research and Policy Development, an organization led by Seth Matijao, has taken the initiative to have this monthly dialogue for a peaceful election. So the monthly dialogue would be all around the elections. And it's to bring all the stakeholders together, civil society, the IEC, and the political parties together to be able to brainstorm what are the challenges, what are the issues, how do we resolve, how do we coalesce around the nation, the good of the country. How do we bring ourselves together around that agenda for the country, and also to resolve issues. And that was the whole purpose, and it will be a continuous thing every month. It was disappointing that the political party leaders are not there. I believe, and this is my personal belief, that if the president was taking leadership in attending some of the political party leaders' meetings, one of the things that was a big but and was a big question mark and was a bit, I think, disheartening to some of the political party leaders during the constitutional talks with President Goodluck Jonathan was that, yes, when they were having the tense discussions, the president was not there. You know, and, you know, somebody might see it like you are slighting us. You know, yes, you are president, we know you are busy, but this is for the good of the country. What is more important than having our constitution? For you to be present and tell them, well, okay, you people, I feel this thing was done and designed against me.
He brilliantly
you could
silent
have,
and nobody...
Yeah, but he could have, if the president could have shown leadership and attend one of those meetings with Goodluck and say, look, I am looking all of you in the eye. I don't like the way this constitution was. I feel it is against me. Nobody would have said anything against him. Because he's the president and he's showing leadership. At least he is there to discuss.
And that shows, that drives strong political...
Now, if you look at our elections and the way it is going, we know that, well, for now, you could say there are two main bodies or political parties that are carrying the noise, as it were. So if the two main political party leaders are constantly on air, are constantly talking to their supporters, stop the insults, let's not go tribal, let's look at the good of the nation. You can support any party you want, but if you are supporting my party, you cannot insult. If these leaders are doing that constantly, if the Gambian people are seeing the political party leaders come sit together, like you are sitting and having a decent conversation, it will send a message to the supporters that these people are not enemies as we think. They can sit and exchange ideas, talk intellectually, you know, but we are not seeing that. What we see is there are WhatsApp groups, people are insulting each other, and the political leaders are silent. I have gone through the country over this past weekend, from Basse to CRR to North Bank to LRR. I mean, anybody you ask, so what is the main reason for divisions in our communities, in our nation? Politics. And I have asked the people. We have town halls on social cohesion. So I've been asking them, so how many of us have seen the president's or the political party leaders' children being arrested or being beaten? If there is political violence, where are their children? Where are their nieces and nephews? You don't see them. So why should we be that foolish to allow these people to use us as pawns? So what it is, leadership is by example.
And the leaders, the political leaders, are not showing.
They are not showing example. And it's across the board. It is across the board. Because with everything that we are talking about tribalism, they are not coming out enough to address this issue. And it's a shame. It's a shame.
Yes, yes. It's a shame that you invited them and they did not turn up. And
just to add to that, even at the inter-party committee level.
That's what the question I wanted to ask, because a platform exists for political leaders to sit, brainstorm, discuss, quell what might be, tensions and whatsoever.
Yeah.
You are lucky to know the in and out of that inter-party committee. Of late, what do you think should be done?
I think for the remainder of this year, for every inter-party committee meeting, the leaders, the presidential candidates, should attend those meetings and resolve their issues.
Do they send secondary? I mean,
of course they send their whatever. Look, it is disrespectful for somebody like Halifa Sallah, who is a seasoned politician. I think Khalifa's politics, I think, started before any of them, possibly, that we see today. If Khalifa is co-chairing and none of the other leaders has the courtesy to accord this veteran of a politician that since you are chairing, I will attend your meeting. If none of them wants to do that or come down to that level, then I think Gambians, we really have to look at the people we are choosing to serve us. Because you cannot really tell me that, okay, it's inter-party committee. What was the purpose of the inter-party committee? It's not to send anybody that is not a decision maker. So let's have some seriousness. If Khalifa is co-chair, let all the other party leaders be there when it matters. And if the Gambian people are able to see these people every month, have a decent breakfast meeting, everybody say what you want to say after we are one people. We are not saying everybody should follow one party. And that cannot happen. But let them attend these meetings and take the decisions right there. Then we will not be having the problems we are having today. Because it will send a message. Just picture with me. If you see every month GRTS, QTV, Chronicle, everybody is reporting, oh, there was a breakfast meeting, all the political party leaders were there. All the names that matter were present. These are our presidential aspirants. What message will he send?
That is Hussein Dabo, Khalifa Sallah,
Barrow, all of them. Everybody that says, I want to be president should be, and has a political party, should be there.
And nobody forced them to create that inter-party.
Let me tell you, the sad thing was, this inter-party committee was there, even during the Njie days. But Njie did not take it seriously. In fact, when they had done their agreement or whatever and had to sign, it's only Njie that did not sign. The APRC signed up when they lost. So whoever is there today and thinking that you will be there forever, one day things may change. And so is it when things change and you are no longer in power that you are going to sign up or begin to participate effectively, maybe because your rights are being trampled upon?
But let's call things as they are. It's the president of the republic who should show leadership.
That's what I've
said.
said.
In Senegal, for example, Macky Sall sometimes regularly, when the tension gets heated, he would invite political leaders to have a national consultation, and they set up platform. And
let me tell you. One of the things is, yes, I agree, the president is not showing leadership, but I think the president has some wicked and advisors that don't have the interest of this country. Because if I ever had to advise the president, the first thing I would tell him, man up when it matters. You cannot be silent. Now the tribal tensions are getting hot.
But the onus is on him to understand.
No, I fully agree.
If the situation gets rotten,
you have to.
He would not.
It will fall on his head.
Country. Exactly.
It will fall on his head. So I cannot understand why the president is not showing leadership. The president is not now these tribal tensions about foreigners registering. Everybody is silent. And right now they are vilifying even Gambians. So they look at your color or they listen to you speak, they question even the way you dress. A member of civil society was telling me he has this hat that he loves wearing. And he went to register and they said,
like mine with my Manjago.
Well, you see,
Manjago hat.
So it's getting, and this thing, I mean, as I said, I've been through the country these past days, but the tensions are rising. The tensions are rising.
This is scary, it's worrying, because it would preempt the outcome of the December 4th election.
Yeah.
Which is, how are you working with this, with the IEC and the rest? Because IEC is basically attacked for allowing, for example, Mayor Rohim Malik Law to issue attestations and so on. So with all this toxic issue about foreigners and so on, how do you foresee the outcome of the election?
Well, I believe that as civil society, we have gone ahead and we are not waiting on the politicians to take the lead on this. If they don't want to take the lead, we will do what is best for our country. And we have had a number of activities that are ongoing to ensure peaceful elections. We are currently doing talk shows. Part of what I was just doing recently was to conduct town halls on social cohesion in all the regions. We have the traditional communicators trained on social cohesion, peace building, to disseminate the message of social cohesion and peace building through songs, drama. We have community radio outreach that we broadcast that we'll be doing on social cohesion messages, funded by the ECOWAS mission. OneUp has just got funding from the EU to do something on early warning to know where the hotspots are. They've done a hotspot mapping recently. So we are going ahead and doing what we can as civil society. But we believe that the politicians could also play a role if that is the message that they are taking. Because if we keep pushing these things that will divide, that if foreigners register, if foreigners do this, the prisons will be filled. You are preempting people to begin to react to something maybe that is overrated. You know, I mean, who can say that because you are a Bambara, you are not a Gambian? Bambaras have been, I mean, I have Bambara grandparents. You understand? I mean, I have a Jola grandparent. So can you tell me that I am not a Gambian? Can you tell my grandparents that they are not Gambians? The funny thing
about Gambia is we are keen to take our wives to deliver in France, in UK, in America, to be British, French, and American citizens. And we wouldn't like anybody.
That's the sad thing. I mean, and I think it's selfishness. But you see, this is why people keep saying a nation deserves the kind of leadership you have. If you're accusing the leadership of being selfish, that is not to say that they should be. But if you're accusing them, just look at the way we think. Look at the way we see things. I mean, there are people that were vehemently arguing against Gambians or those born of non-Gambian parents in the Gambia not to be citizens. There are people that are arguing, and some of those people are out there in countries and fighting for their children to have nationality of those countries that they have not originated from. So sometimes I'm amazed about the selfishness of the Gambian. Why do we keep doing these things? Why do we keep calling foreign naki, nyaklaki, this? And our laws have a path to citizenship. So were you there all that time that this person was even processing their citizenship? Do you know? So why are you now just, you know, castigating everybody that, okay, this person is not a citizen?
Yeah, recently the Fullers from Guinea-Conakry have created, they set up an organization in the Gambia. They have realized that many of them are subject to what they call harassment by immigration officers. And they have gone to their consulate, get it registered, to be able to be assisted whenever one of them is in trouble. Basically, to buttress what you were saying, when actually our president was recently in Guinea-Conakry, hoping that Conakry would, through the OMVG, help the Gambia cover up the deficit in electricity and whatsoever. So it tells you what we're losing. If we were to collaborate and respect each other, we gain from the positives that we can take from the order instead of castigating people based on just appearances.
I fully agree. And again, the thing is, why is the path to citizenship so shrouded in secret and so difficult in this country? I don't understand it. So if you are saying, well, I mean, have a path that is clear. That this is, if you take these steps, you don't need to call anybody, you don't need to give anybody anything. This is the path to citizenship. So these people that are coming from Conakry that have been here before some of us were born, then they could just easily apply and become citizens. Exactly. Because whether they are citizens or not, they are still here. You know? So, I mean, I think, honestly, I mean, maybe that's why people cry that really we needed system change. System change would have come with all these things, but it's sad where we are.
Talking about the elections, you've begun to engage the Independent Electoral Commission. Can you tell us basically what is there?
Well, basically, the monthly engagement that Center for Research and Policy Development is doing is to be able to maybe bring out the issues, tease out the issues that are confronting, whether it's political parties, whether civil society as observers, so that the IEC can hear. And then also get feedback from IEC as to what they are doing. Because you need to build this trust between the referee and the players. And that is all we are doing.
To make the outcome acceptable by everybody.
Everybody says these elections is high-stakes elections. I mean, I keep saying that we will be a very foolish people or a very foolish nation if we could have fought a 22-year-old dictatorship without bloodshed in a peaceful election, and then come to a seeming democracy,
strengthen that democracy,
only in 5 years, and we cannot do a peaceful election, why? Why is it that a dictatorship, 22 years, entrenched. You went to the polls peacefully, voted, and we have the change. So why can't we go and just do the same thing? I have said before, Gambians decided in 2016, Gambians will decide again. So if you are incumbent or you are incoming, I think you should just be, okay, if I come, I will do my job. If I don't do it, I may be voted out. And until we have the culture that people know that they will be punished if they don't perform, then maybe we will be having problems. But one of the things is, let's not also be too hard on ourselves. Elections everywhere come with tensions. It's how we manage the tensions. And that's why we call on every Gambian, be a messenger of peace. Everywhere I've gone to in all the regions, that's what I've been saying. To the young people, that's what I'm going to say. Just be messengers of peace. If anybody wants you to fight your neighbor, tell them, well, I have other things to do.
I think the message is go and register, get your card.
Yeah.
Think about, look at all these people, who you believe is the most responsible can drive the Gambia forward, and go and vote for it. And vote. You go home, that's it.
As I was driving yesterday, sometimes life and situations around speak to you. And I was going in one direction and there were vehicles coming in the other direction. I was saying to myself, but why is it that we believe that everybody has to go in one direction? Exactly. Everybody has to be in one political party. Yes. Everybody can choose. And there is peace. It's like you are driving on this side and somebody's coming, you're asking them, do you guide them? Wow, does it make sense? So let's just do this thing peacefully. There is life after December 4th. For me, I have said to people, look, I don't support any political party. Elections day, I will go. Maybe the morning I wake up, or when I go there, I look at the faces, I check what messages I have had. Maybe that's when I will take my decision. But I will not break a sweat for any of the political parties. I will not. The day I want to start a party or join a party or do politics, then I will let everybody know that now I'm a politician, I'm not in civil society. Are
you optimistic with regards to the engagement of the Gambian who will decide? Because IEC is telling us that we have over 700,000 already people registered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, IEC has targeted 1 million. First and foremost, I have questioned the 1 million for reasons that in 2013, that's when the last election was, our population was about 1.5 million, plus non-nationals 100,000, which I feel is underestimated.
2016?
2013. That's the elections. That's the census.
Yes.
Of 2013, 1.5 million Gambians, about 100,000 non-Gambians. That, is questionable. But look at the amount of Senegalese here. The Ghanaians say they are 10,000. So even if you say we have 10% of Senegalese, or non-nationals, 10% of the 2.2 million that is projected now, it's a projection. 2.2 million, if you take out 200,000 as non-nationals, and then you begin to check the number of the age between, or those that are under 18, what percentage of the population is that? 1 million is almost 50% of Gambians, you're saying. So is it logical to have 50% of your population? Yes, it's a youthful population, but on what side of the 18? But let's say 1 million people are registered. I think that is that would be around maybe possibly a 100% registration that we are that we are looking at. But I think between the IEC and the Bureau of Statistics, we need some answers. One of the answers that we need is this 1 million. What percentage of eligible voters is this 1 million registered? So that at the end of the day, you could say you have registered 80% of eligible voters or 90%. But 1 million as a wholesome figure is quite problematic. Because somebody has asked, so if what if 1.2 million people register? You know, you begin people, because if you say 1 million, so people have thought that, okay, we cannot have more than 1 million. What if we have more than 1 million? Is the IEC registering people that are not Gambians? Is our population bloated, or is it under-projected? So there are so many questions. So they should have sat down with with the Bureau of Statistics and do a proper analysis. So if you are saying 1 million, we know that it's 80%. So if you go above the 1 million, we know that we are still within the range of eligible voters. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. Yes. Because, I mean, I think there is, but this 700,000 for the 4th week, I think is a good figure.
It's a good figure.
I think it's a good figure.
One would also say that between 2013 date of our last census and today, a lot has happened. And since we don't have clear or empirical data from the National Bureau of Statistics, it's a bit difficult to go about, you know, what is really. Yeah,
but they have a way of calculating these things. The 1 million was not just, I mean, I mean, maybe it was, I guess, because I learned that last elections, 2016, we registered 800,000. Yes. So possibly the 1 million was a projection from the 800,000. Yes. But there are people that also have a question mark on whether it was all Gambians that registered in under that 800,000. Yes. That is, you get my point.
So about 200 people that would register between 2016.
Well, that's what they what they are projecting. Yes. But then if the 800,000 was a bloated figure, what if non-Gambians registered at that time? Because civil society, how many people were monitoring the registration process? How many?
That also brings us to something probably we should think about in the months and years to come. In certain countries, for example, after the registration, they have a national commission where you have the Independent Electoral Commission with representative of political parties, and they review the list. National list, yes.
Well, no, what is going to happen here is the lists are going to be published in all the registration centers. But you see, this is where I also have a problem with us Gambians, that we don't follow up on issues. We are good at making noise. When it comes to taking the next step, we are absent. The list will be published. This thing of this maslaha thing that, well, you know, after all, how much to nini, go and look at the list. If you're not happy with the people that are there, and it's your community, go get the names. There is going to be a revising court.
Under normal circumstances, every political party should have got a team of statisticians, you know, that can decentralize. If they say that the list in Larikunda is this, send to your representative in Larikunda to verify.
That is difficult. So you see, you cannot blame the IEC. You know, they will do everything that they have to do. If somebody comes and brings a Gambian ID, it is not for the IEC to say you are not Gambian. Yes. You get my point? So, but it is left to anybody that has to say that, well, this person is not a Gambian, to take it to the revising court and challenge it there. And then let's see what the law says. You know?
I remind our viewers that in our studios we have Njie, the chairman of the National Association of Non-Governmental Organizations. Njie, thank you so much for visiting us.
Thank you, sir.
We hope to see you soon.
And I must commend the good work you're doing. And may God also add and bless you as you serve your country. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, viewers, thank you so much. We hope to see you next week, inshallah.